This is What Your Palate, just letting you know what you're in for the next podcast coming up. So we got a couple special guests. We got Kenny Flowers and Christina, or Jet Set Christina, I should say. And we're talking about traveling, we're talking about fashion, we're talking about a collaboration we did.
We also talked about epic mustaches.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was a humble brag.
We talked about your budding modeling career.
I never get
All
it.
right, Freddie, settle down,
I always
Freddie.
get shit from him. I gotta get him from him.
All right, man. Well, no, it's great to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on out here.
And so you had said you got back from Italy yesterday?
Yes.
And you came straight to wine country.
Straight to wine country.
Jesus, man.
From one wine country to another.
And you were with your wife and your 15-month-old.
Absolutely. So the sleep has been phenomenal.
I
the past
bet,
couple
man. I don't know
nights.
how you're doing it.
Hopefully the wine helps tonight.
Yeah, at least get a nice night of sleep. Actually, I don't know. With the baby crying.
Yeah.
Yep.
No guarantees.
Do you mind if I jump in here with like a introduction? You're on Go With Your Palate?
Yeah.
We have Kenny Haisfield here.
So yeah, I mean, I
Kenny
went
Flowers.
with my palate and flew right from Italy to here because Napa wine wins.
Yeah, so everybody listening, so Kenny from Kenny Flowers, if you haven't heard about it, great resort wear, leisure wear, Hawaiian shirts, beautiful dresses, the whole thing. And we've always been, we've always loved fashion. And actually the first time I was able to get some of your attire that you put together was during the pandemic from my wife. And you guys were doing the matching masks with the shirts and everything. And like,
Oh yeah.
we wore the shit out of those during the pandemic. And like, we always were stylish. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Had no idea we'd someday do a collaboration. So for everybody that can't see it, we got these awesome shirts on. We'll talk about those in a minute. But they are
Everyone's
comfortable.
looking great.
Oh, it feels
Wearing them
great.
well.
I tell you right now.
I feel real expensive right now. All right, so yeah, this is another episode of Go With Your Palate. You got me, Joe Wagner. You got Chris, Fat Mario Rubio. And we've got Kenny from Kenny Flowers. Here we go.
Get ready.
What are we going to talk about today, Chris?
Well, we're going to talk about first, I wanted to get, before we dive into the details of the fabric, and your whole origin story and everything, I thought we could just get a quick snapshot of, what Kenny Flowers is for the people that may not know, and your design and stuff like that, where you're at right now.
Absolutely. Well, Kenny Flowers is essentially my vacation persona morphed into clothing. So I started out back in 2015 with just a eager drive to bring a new wave of Hawaiian shirts to the market. I used to love wearing my dad's hand-me-downs. It just, every time I put it on, I knew I was going to have a good time, and I wanted to spread that feeling, to customers across the board. So started out with the button-down shirts and quickly evolved the brand, grew with me over the past almost 9 years now. And we've, as you mentioned earlier, started getting into women's, even kids to really like reflect even, my own life's journey.
That's awesome. I can't wait to get into the entrepreneurial spirit side of how you got into this, but and we'll get into that. But give us a day in, or maybe like a month in your life, because obviously the travel lifestyle is part of it, and whatever you get inspired by on your travels, and your wife, I assume, is a big part of it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes hand in hand. Like our lines of work. My wife, Jet Set Christina, she's a luxury travel blogger, writer. Maybe you've heard of her before. I think you said you you had. But then Kenny Flowers as well. It's like we're designing clothing not for the sake of just making clothes. Like we want to set people up to really enjoy those special occasions, the big trips they're working hard all year for. And when we're out there traveling, we're getting inspiration as well. And that's what's leading to the next wave of designs too.
And are you seeing a lot of people, like families, when they do like their outings, like they, say like, oh, we're going to be on a boat in the Caribbean for, a couple days and we're all getting matching outfits? Are you seeing orders come through like that?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like there is full buy-in, and honestly, it's like, it's one thing to wear a Kenny Flowers shirt, by yourself. It's another when everyone's in on it. Like,
yeah.
Would this podcast be as fun if you were the only one wearing the shirt? Or is it going to be better because we're all here?
Exactly. I mean, walking into this room with three dudes in the same looking shirt, I was like,
go wrong.
This is straight up like, it's a bit gangster at the same time. It's like, it just has vacation vibes all over it. So,
Yeah, vacation gangsters, like gangsters.
Like
on
I feel like
vacation.
if we
Exactly.
if we walk through downtown Napa right now, people would be like, "I'm not fucking with those guys."
But I want to hang out with them. Like I kind of want to see how I can earn the shirt. It's like I gotta
Yeah. But one thing that is really cool about how you went about the business side of it is the kind of going direct to consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Harnessing social media, and then is 100% of your product sold through your website?
We're about 95% through the site. We just opened up our first flagship store in Charleston just a few months ago. So that's been a really exciting like evolution of the brand. Just gives more people the chance to get their hands on the fabrics, try it on in person. But really, our bread and butter is direct to consumer. It's what's allowed us to really get in front of like our market, which we feel is not just one type of person. Like we're designing just as much for like a guy living in Napa as we are for someone in Florida, New York, you name it.
Yeah. And that, so, I mean, for anybody that's listening and kind of understanding, there may be kind of two ways to go about business. We've faced this in wine as well, right? Mm-hmm. Where you can say, we're going to build a plan that facilitates going wholesale, meaning like you're going to be selling to, restaurants and retailers through a distributor, and your margins are compressed, right?
Right.
So you guys have made the decision to stick with no wholesale, and that gives you the opportunity to make some money while delivering a great product at a price that's not like jacked way up and $200 a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, ever since the beginning, we wanted to be creating high quality apparel. Like it was not in our it's not in my DNA. My name's literally on the product. Like I don't want to be thinking of this as something cheap. So we've really put a lot of attention into every detail of the shirt and every product that we make, and have over the past few years. But kind of to your point, it's like we're leading with direct to consumer, but as like end of the day, it's like you have to know who your customer is and where they are. So we're not deep in wholesale right now, but we do have some like select boutiques, certain country clubs we work with, because we know that's really where our customers are are buying the brand. But yeah, to your point though, like being online, it's really helped us focus on creating a high quality product, being able to stay true to ourselves while figuring out, what our potential is. And, each year it's like I get more and more excited because you learn more about, who you can be, where you see more people wearing the product, whether it's on Instagram or even more recently, like we've started seeing it in person, which is, I'm sure like even for you walking by a table at dinner and you see someone with Belle Glos, you're like, oh my, I know that. I know that bottle. It gets you excited, and I think that feeling is, what keeps me motivated every day.
It is a cool feeling, and so I got to ask, when you see somebody in public,
oh yeah,
like you're just walking down the street and you see this dude in a Kenny Flowers shirt, do you go up and be like, "Hey, man"? Like, do you say anything?
I 100% say something.
Good.
It's like,
I love that.
We're still at that really exciting level where it's like, you're not guaranteed to see Kenny Flowers every time you open your door. So whenever it does happen, and it's usually when we are on vacation, whether it's like Mexico, we were just in Italy and we saw a few different people wearing Kenny Flowers, and every time we're going up to them and we're literally like, to us, like they're a celeb. I'm like, oh my gosh, you are wearing, like, I changed my approach. Sometimes I'm very like, hey, that's a cool shirt. Where'd you get it? And test like what they know
yeah,
about
that's
the
what I was
brand.
wondering. You mess with them a little
secret
bit.
shopper
thing.
And then there's other times where we're just right away. It's like, hey, that's so awesome. You're wearing this. I'm Kenny, by the way. Nice to meet you. Keep doing what you're doing. And like, there's so many different levels of interest. Sometimes people like absolutely, freak out. They get excited. They really are like attached to the brand. Other people are like, I just saw this print come across my Instagram and I bought it. I had no idea it wasn't like something special. So anyways, we've really used those moments to connect with people.
Do you get that vibe from people, like they're like, you're full of shit, like you didn't make this shirt?
There's a yeah.
Has there been an incident? Is that what you're trying to get the drama?
I'm asking.
It looks like you might have one.
I'm asking for
I've
my.
got one.
Oh, let's hear it.
I'm asking for my experience. I'll share my
Okay,
experience.
you
but I
guys
wanna
gotta
hear
share a little
this.
bit of yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had this one time. We were in Santorini, and I noticed, like, my wife, we were in the pool. We looked over and we're like, oh my gosh, gosh, like that couple, like it's Kenny Flowers. And keep in mind, I have swim trunks on from Kenny Flowers, a shirt on from Kenny Flowers, a hat that says it, and then a little, drawstring bag for my book and sunscreen and whatever. And I went up and was like, hey, is that Kenny Flowers you're wearing? And they're like, yeah, do you work there or something? And they're like, you look like a diehard employee right now. Like, they didn't really put it together that I might actually be Kenny and just, really into what I do for work.
That's pretty funny. So because I had a similar experience where, you got into this business at what age? Mid-20s?
Yep, mid-20s.
Just followed your dream in your mid-20s?
Absolutely.
And so it's really hard to be taken seriously in your 20s by any corporate America. Like, I mean, really, and so I used to lie about my age. I told everybody I was 30 until I was 30. And that helped me substantially. So I tell all young people now, I'm like, dude, lie about your age, just straight up. Yeah. And I think it really helps. But what I would do is if I saw one of our bottles, like Belle Glos, on somebody's table, I'd walk up and just say, hey, wanted to say thank you for buying the wine. I hope you guys enjoy it. I started the brand. I make the wine. And most of the time through my 20s, people are like, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
What? So I was like, how do I do this where I can actually tell them that I really appreciate it? And as the business grew and we were able to, do more stuff like this, so now I'll just cover their whole check. And I don't even tell them. I just go to the server.
That's one way to let them know.
And I'm like, I'm like, is that a flex? But and I don't carry a business card, so I'm just like Joe Wagner and whatever else, and talk to him for a minute. And now that I've got some gray hair, people take it like a little more seriously. They're like, oh, well, maybe this is actually the guy. And then I'll just cover their check, not say anything, and usually try to get out of there before they leave.
That's awesome. I mean, I'd say we're probably a few years away from us picking up the hotel bills for some of these honeymooners and such. But very, very admirable. Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Cover the whole hotel bill? No, that might be a little rich.
Yeah.
Before we can dive into some stuff, let's just talk about right now. So we're wearing these shirts, and they're amazing. And I love to hear, because I've actually listened to some of your podcasts I was talking to you earlier when you're on Founder and everything, and it was just really cool to find out how much detail that you cared about, from the coconut buttons to the hole for the sunglasses in the pocket and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, that is awesome. It's attention to detail, really care. And I know you have the same passion with your wine and stuff like that, something for people to be really enjoying, and you play to the fans. You don't play to what Pinot was supposed to be, right? You you went outside the box,
or you just believe in what you're doing so hardcore that you assume that there are customers out there for the product that you envision making.
Yes,
whether that's shirts or wine, or whatever it is. And I think that one thing that really sets you apart in the fashion world is independence, right? You're a totally independent operator, and there's not a lot of that. I mean, I would venture to guess close to 100%, 99+% of fashion out there is owned by some massive corporation. People see through that stuff real quick.
Yeah.
They see through an independent spirit behind a product so quickly, and I think that's something that we're seeing in the wine world. I hope you're seeing it in the fashion world.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a great point you bring up, and I mean I truly feel that there are a lot of playbooks out there on how you can start a company, how you can start a line of clothing, probably even how to make a wine. There's YouTube, there's Chat, you name it. You can do these things, but it's really what passion can you bring to the table? Because at that point anyone can do it, but it takes a lot of passion and hours and sweat and things that people don't see to bring something like Belle Glos, something like Kenny Flowers to life. And yeah, I mean, I started, like you said, on the details, I was starting from scratch. I had no fashion background, which I thought was really, really freeing, because there wasn't anything holding me into, hey, I have to do this, I have to do it this way. I was able to just think, what do I want to wear? What would make me feel good if I was putting it on? And it helped me take a different approach, where it wasn't creating this Hawaiian shirt company, but creating more a company that was creating clothes people can feel good on. And then it's okay, well, where will people be wearing these? And suddenly it's if you see the first line of shirts we ever did, it was not 9 Hawaiian shirts. It was 9 different types of button downs for different times. There's guys that wear nothing but Hawaiian shirts, and they could find something they liked in the collection that made them feel that Kenny Flowers lifestyle. But I also had buddies who would never wear a button down shirt before I started, and I was thinking, what's a subtle version? To me, what's subtle, but to them might be, you know, a bold statement shirt that would make them kind of feel good in that same way. So, you know, it's all about really bringing in like elements of quality to it. I was thinking through what are my, you know, quote unquote, I came from a consulting background. So what are my pain points? You know, when I wear a Hawaiian shirt, what goes wrong? It's like, okay, well, all the ones I have are pretty baggy. How can I make sure they're more stylish so you can be considered, you know, more modern, so you can actually wear them in more settings than just a luau party? I was thinking, all right, like I always like lose my sunglasses. They fall out of a pocket. How can I put a little sunglass loop right there?
Dude, that was
keeps them in
that was
place?
a genius decision. Like that
In the first shirt,
yeah.
that's how it was. It was just like from the beginning, I was like, it made sense to do that because
has anybody knocked that off yet?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, you know, trademarks and like things like that, but you know, in fashion, there's a lot of people taking ideas left and right.
It's a bunch of whores out there. I swear. They're just like watching you, preying on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone stole your caps? You have your trademark on your Belle Glos.
Oh no, that's a patent.
Oh, your patent. Oh,
But
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
right.
kind of like a trademark, but still,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, but no, you always try to protect yourself the best you can. But I mean, we get knockoffs all the time. I just got another article this morning about this brand. I'm not going to mention it. I know the people that run it, but it's like a custom brand for a retailer, and they were doing like the same red wax dip, the label same shape, all this shit. I'm like, I just want to call the owners and be like, guys, just like fucking give it up, like you know. But you know, at the same time, I guess imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
I was about to say that. There's, you know, so many times I feel that you almost kind of have to bite your lip and take that approach, even though from your side you're just like, okay, I know what went into doing this myself, and now someone just walks in and tries treating it like a playbook and like doing it like that, and right there with you on it.
It is pretty annoying, but I think that it also, from my perspective at least, so that I always joke that like a secret is only a secret in the wine industry for like 3 years. So we do a lot of experimentation every year. We're always, you know, trying to make something better. It could be a tiny betterment of the product, but you add all those up over a period of time, and you're going to end up with a massive impact to the quality and consistency of the wines. And that's something that I truly believe in. The problem is that just about everything that we use is purchased from another vendor. Yeah. So, you know, whatever it might be, like dry ice and cryo extraction, going back to that, like we were buying a bunch of dry ice. All of a sudden, there's like dry ice, like these blue bins of dry ice all over the goddamn valley. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? This is like 3 years in, and they're like, yeah, everybody is trying this cryo extraction thing. I was like, fuck you, dude. I told you, like, you weren't supposed
to tell anyone.
Well, it's a salesman's prerogative, right? He's going to be like, hey, Joe Wagner's doing this. Like, you guys should really try this. And then they'll trial it for a year. And then they'll be like, okay, another year, do a little more, and then like put it in part of their production. And then that whole thing is blown. So now you got all these people doing the same damn thing that you are.
Yep.
And that is motivating, I think, because then you're like, okay, what do I have to do next?
Yeah,
How do
next?
I stay on my toes?
Yeah.
How do I be better than everybody else and lead our organization, but also lead the industry? And I think that's probably something you face on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, right when you started saying that, I had, you know, my own tales of, you know, similar things coming to mind. But for us, you know, we really put a focus into working with, you know, boutique factories when we can, once we have really strong relationships with family-run businesses, smaller operations in not just Bali, but down in Colombia. Like that's where we make all of our swimwear. And we're 100% of their capacity at this state. It's like, you know, this amazing female-run operation. They make the women's swim. They do the guys' trunks. And like we have a really strong relationship where normally we, you know, keep their name pretty private and like, you know, quiet, but we did some behind the brand documentary work a couple years ago because we're like, look, we're loyal, like they're not gonna you know, give us up for somebody else or something like that. And sure enough, like the last year or so, they're like, your competitors are knocking on our door. Like they're finding us through fabric suppliers, through
No way.
all these industry ways.
Whoa.
And like they're coming and they're getting no's because we do have that strong like real connection with our factories. But yeah, I mean, that's the way the industry works, is like, you know, we might have an awesome swim trunk fabric, but if the fabric suppliers go on a trade show and suddenly wants to, you know, sell 3 times as much the next year, they're gonna be trying to show our trunks.
They're gonna name drop you,
us, and there's gonna be like people looking for, you know, better places than better places than China to make swimwear, but they're gonna want China prices, not the like boutique level that we're working with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a crazy industry, but best we can do is just, you know, try to run a genuine business, work with people we like to work with, and yeah, get innovative when we can.
Absolutely, yeah. And so we got this cool collaboration, which we haven't really dove into. And I mean, Chris, I'm going to let you talk about this because you kind of spearheaded this thing.
Yes.
In a way. So how did it start?
Well, it started because we did a wine shower. I don't know if you've been checking out Joe's.
Oh my
have you
gosh.
checked out his TikTok? Do you know he's an influencer?
Yes.
too?
Oh, he is.
I'm not an influencer.
Yeah, he's.
Kenny's wife is a real. Kenny's wife is a real
I
influencer. She's such an influencer. I'll tell a story later.
On TikTok.
I'm just selling my body out there, man. That's what
Yeah.
And you don't like it. We could tell through the videos that you're very unhappy.
I don't like it. That's all game face time, man. That's game face.
Pure business.
Yeah, well, we had a awesome photographer come out, handle drink in moderation, Gilbert, and he came out here and we did this fun shoot. And we just had this idea. It was like we grew up here in the Valley, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we've both experienced a wine shower by accident when we were like actually working as kids.
So what happened? Can I just chime in? So
yeah.
When you're racking is moving wine out of a barrel back into a barrel, whatever. And so when you're refilling that barrel, you usually are using a pump, right? You can do gravity, but still even gravity can be pushing enough where you get to the top of that barrel and you got that small little bunghole, and that pressure will just pop it out and like you'll get a wine shower. And so it's part of like, it's almost like a rite of passage in like, if you're working in a winery, you're going to get a couple of them. But that first one is just like, oh, fuck. And then you're embarrassed, but then everybody's like, finally.
And how much does it, kind of cost you in lost product?
Because you got a valve on the top. So, like, it's just if you're not, like, watching with your flashlight close enough. And then, but I'd say maybe every second might be a gallon. You know, so it's, I mean, it's not a huge amount. But that's where the inspiration came from. And we wasted a lot more than a gallon in that shoot.
Not usable wine.
Not usable.
Because people always freak out too when they see the wine showers. You'll get some people that get really amped. They get so pissed.
I still can't even say whether it's like
if
real
you want
wine
to find
or not.
these on TikTok, you know, you go to Joe the winemaker, and it's the 3-pinned across the top. So
there you go.
You can see how that works. I love it.
We liked it. So we liked it, but it was actually interesting. So from that, we didn't know that what would come out of it is that people kept saying like the shirts. You know, we want the shirts. You know what I mean? And so we were like, man. And then then you actually washed the shirt, and and all the wine came out. It was just a white shirt.
Oh my gosh, amazing!
And all the white. And I was like, dude, you should have collabed with a detergent company. I don't know who you used for that. That would have been awesome too. That would have been a great side hustle.
And nobody believed that I actually got it cleaned. It was like they were like, no, that's a new shirt. No.
So that kind of spawned the idea of like wanting to do it. But why don't you tell me, because the shirts that we're wearing this is you guys. I mean, and these are just awesome. Like, how did this?
So I wear Hawaiian shirts all the time.
Like
floral shirts, like whatever.
Right.
I mean, it could range from like traditional Hawaiian all the way to like a floral pattern that looks like my grandma's curtains, right? Like but I love that, and people
Makes
are
you
like,
feel good.
Like, dude, you wear cowboy boots, and a Hawaiian shirts. I'm like. So what? Like, it's what I like to wear.
I mean, you just have to respond. Like when I was getting dressed in the morning, I didn't have a better day. Like I'm not gonna put on cowboy boots and my grandma's printed shirt and have a bad day. Like this was a conscious decision to show up.
And so when we were talking about, okay, we want to do this kind of shirt thing. How do we go about it? And we wanted to be more of a print. We wanted it to be wine themed. We wanted it to be kind of focused on Belle Glos. And so I mean this shirt that we're all wearing, it's a beautiful shirt. And we just ran it through the ringer today, getting wine all over it, and I don't see a single wine stain on anybody's shirt.
It's like we're talking about innovation, and in 3 years everyone's gonna have now shirts that you can just spill wine on, and it just magically blends in or goes away. But,
Yeah.
we're out here leading that charge.
We're leading
Yeah,
that
you're
charge.
leading it. All right.
This is
Watch
innovation.
it. Another thing that the people were going to steal from you guys. Just waiting out in the videos.
But the color, the print, everything is like perfect. And so tell us about. I know there's some people that are just listening to this, but so you started off with kind of like palm fronds. Kind of, is that what would you call it?
Yeah, this was a really, really fun, collab to design for, because it's cross industry. It's not like, hey, this is, something that right away, the ideas start flowing. It was like, how can we really properly, bring a Kenny Flower shirt in a wine environment? How can we make sure Belle Glos is excited about it, that it truly speaks to, who and what they are? And a lot of the inspiration for this, like you said, was like literally the blending and merging of that. It's like we're talking about Belle Glos, a high quality, amazing wine that people do know around the nation, which is so exciting. I think we just barely hinted at something a couple months back when we were out in Napa, that something was coming, and people were like, oh my gosh, Belle Glos, I love Belle Glos. People were getting so excited everywhere, and we were just okay, how, what can we do? How can we cater to this? And I think you're, really, you were the inspiration in terms of the spill the wine concept, and just get messy with it, but not just messy, have fun. And that's really the concept, is you really shouldn't be out there drinking wine if you're not drinking it to have fun. and that's really
those people are called
about.
sommeliers.
Yes.
Those are.
I've never understood. You mean the ones that spit it out?
Yeah, the ones that spit it out and talk shit
I've
about
heard
stuff
of
that they
them.
don't like. It's Jesus.
The inspiration for this was very hey, where would we want to be enjoying a bottle of Belle Glos? And it's hey, we found while we're traveling, while you're at home, you want to be in your best, similar to you. I'm always wearing Hawaiian shirts. Obviously, I don't own anything else at this stage in my life. So what does that look like brought together? And I thought that this concept just really hit on what you guys were seeing on your end, something that people were starting to resonate with, just the wax tops, but really from having fun with the creative process of designing a product. And yeah, I mean, your TikTok videos definitely got us going a little bit. We're how can we do this tastefully and tropically too? And
it turned into a perfect balance. Yeah. I mean, it's got the wine splatter on there, that you can see, and that's I never really thought about it until you had this you put this on a print, and it is a universal language. The wine splatter. Yeah. I mean, a Hawaiian shirt is also a universal language. But you look at this closely, not even that closely, and you're oh yeah, that's definitely mimicking a wine splatter.
Yep.
And I think that people actually like the idea of having wine splattered on their shirts.
Yeah, just like what we said, they get to splatter it on themselves,
yeah.
And then you won't know. And you see someone like that, I feel like you give off that vibe. They see it, they're this person has fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And this is really this is the definition of a classy party shirt, because like you said, it can take a hit or two from a party and still be at its best. But no, I mean, I think for us, we had a lot of concepts that we were bringing forward to your team, but the splash element was really a part of it. Our designer, she starts from scratch. It's going to be hand drawn, it's going to get worked into eventually a digital file, but it's all starting in that. It was a funny one to be hey, so we're working with this wine brand, they like to spill wine all over the place.
Messy. Crazy.
They're just a bit clumsy.
What can we do to bring these two brands together? And yeah, we gave some fun guidance, and we're really excited with how it came out.
So did you?
So will everybody.
To get the look, did you and the design team actually throw wine on fabric?
A little splashing around, yeah, but it was cheap Colombian wine.
Yeah,
we didn't want to, we didn't want to truly, waste any Belle Glos. But
so I got
the ideas definitely came over a bottle or two of it.
So I got to ask, so imagine you're sitting at a table like here, right? And you're sitting there and you're looking at like 50 different wine splatterings of actual wine splatterings of different ways of throwing it. Yeah.
That's the one.
Is that how it went?
Yeah,
You're literally like,
there's
we like
so many
this
renditions of like the shirt before it was like Joe worthy to show, you know?
I mean, get the right
That
splatter,
sounds like a really funny fun process. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you're sitting there just like picking out your perfect wine splatter. You're like, yeah, that one,
Yep.
that one will layer on palm. Well, yeah.
Now, have you ever done a collaboration like this before, or like other collaborations?
We've done some other collabs before, but not with Napa, not with like the wine industry, and it really is a nice extension of our, you know, for us, like of our brand. Like our customers are going to Napa, like the same customer that's doing their big, you know, once a summer trip to Europe or a Caribbean spring break, like they want to be here during harvest season, or they want to be like knowing when to be there, where to go, or what bottles to bring on their trip so they don't get, you know, slammed with resort prices.
Yeah. Well, and what I've seen in Napa is your style definitely is the style that people, if you look up like inspiration for outfits for wine country, right? Like you see, you know, your style, like to a degree, but like with, you know, the hat, the you know, the printed, you know, shirt, but especially on women's clothing, like that's a big part of it. Like you could go into one of these stores in like downtown Napa and get all of your like, okay, it's a sundress, it's a big hat, it's what like, and it fits in perfect.
Totally.
Yeah.
My wife, Christina, like she grew up, you know, less than an hour from Napa. Like it's pretty much been in her blood. Like I had never been to Napa till I started dating her, and then it was like 6 times in the first year we popped up here. Like it was so fun to get in the swing of it. And yeah, I mean, I think, you know, there's tons of ways to do Napa. There's tons of ways to dress for it, but you know, we're thinking like, what are our personalities? What are our ways? Like we don't need to be over dressed up. We don't want to be underdressed either. We want to just, you know, really be in a place where we can enjoy an elevated experience, but also have a lot of fun with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what it should be, right? I mean, I think that there are a few wineries out here, I won't mention any names, but that it's like, you got to wear a tie.
You can. They can cut it. You know, you're welcome to mention the name.
You got it, dude. I like it.
It's like you got to wear a tie for this experience.
Right,
and you're like,
right.
are you kidding me? Like, this is, you know, Napa Valley wine country should be just, you know, whatever you want to call it, like casual chic, like comfortable. You're out there enjoying yourself. You're enjoying great food, great wine, great ambiance, everything. Like it is all here. And I mean, I'd say like, yeah, you know, maybe don't wear a ball cap and like, you know, a wife beater.
Right. Totally.
I've actually never,
I mean, I'm just
like,
saying.
I mean-
I'm not hate.
I've never seen somebody walk into a tasting room with a wife beater on. Honestly, I might try that. I'm gonna grow a mustache out like you. Wear a wife beater.
Here we go again, dude. Just,
No, dude, I'll be the.
I trimmed it today for you.
I'll be-
It's
looking sharp.
I wanted to come in here.
It is
fresh,
looking
all right?
sharp.
You told me.
But
I mean, I've never met you, so like this is how I assume he always is, just perfectly clean mustache.
Yeah.
He's
Hawaiian
Gucci.
shirt on.
he's
you.
going for like
Thank
the
you.
Freddie Mercury thing.
Yeah. I'm. Hey.
I mean,
I'm
I'll
living
just be the fat
Going
Freddie
for it.
Mercury.
He's living it. You heard the man. I'm living it.
It's like you've always been here, Kenny.
It looks good on you.
I was gonna ask you guys because like I feel like you guys are like riding high with like the buttons. Like how many buttons should I undo here? Because I think you guys got 4
How
buttons
many glasses
undone?
of wine have you had today?
Oh man, then I should probably.
That's a
Let's
good.
just-
We've been
I
at it for a while.
I know
There
you got.
go.
Okay,
There
I
you
want to get
go.
on your level. I
Yeah.
like that. I feel it's like the alpha. You guys are very alpha right now with like 4 buttons.
Well,
But I gotta work on
Kenny-
the hair. I gotta work on my
yeah.
on my like chest.
Just
my
stop
chest hair,
shaving it,
yeah.
that's all.
I don't shave it though, bro. You just wanted me to
Don't worry,
say
Chris,
that.
You'll hit puberty one day.
Oh, the mustache art. Come on, dude. It's not fake. The mustache isn't fake.
No, so I was inspired by Kenny when he walked in, and he was like already down like 3 buttons, and I was like,
Showed
dude.
you, dude.
I was
know.
like,
That's how it says
people
in
are
Rocky,
like, you should
idiot.
probably raise it up a button to me, like in
Yeah,
business meetings. I'm
yeah.
like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
So then I went down another button. I'm like, yeah, screw
I
this.
know
I'm
you
fucking
guys
hell
kept
yeah.
your buttons
Hell
just
yeah.
kept getting lower. I was waiting for both your shirts just to be open, just flying.
Yeah,
you
by
know,
the end of the podcast, we're just gonna be
Yeah, hey, that's cool though.
buttonless.
That's how it works, right? Yeah. So hey, can we say though, if someone like sees our shirts right now and they're like, "Hey, I want to be part of the crew," you know, they're thinking about walking with us, like Reservoir Dog style, maybe or whatever. Where are
gosh.
they gonna get? Where
Well,
can they buy these shirts?
So the name you came up with the name.
Mm-hmm.
Spill the wine.
Yep.
Right.
The wine.
And so that's the name of this collection of this. Yeah. And so you got shirts, dresses.
Yes. Yeah, it's focused on the shirts and the resort dresses.
Okay, got it.
So there's something for men and women to be wearing out here.
And they can be matchy, which is cute. Like my wife loves it when I go out matching her.
Oh my gosh, I mean, it'll make an absolute statement. You're gonna have a good time doing it. But yeah, you can also, kind of divide and conquer too. Like, you can be wearing a shirt, she can wear a solid dress, or vice versa too. In those ways. But.
I mean, I'm gonna give a tip to all the guys out there that might be listening. If you have a matching shirt to your wife's dress, and she puts that dress on, and you go back in your closet and you change into the shirt that matches, you're gonna have a very good night. Like that shit means a lot to the ladies, and I have learned about that. So it's like I'll wait until she's dressed, and they'll be like, "All right, what am I doing to match her?"
We've been really like leading the charge on this whole like matching couples thing. Like years ago, we were like, "Hey, you're going on a honeymoon, or you're just like going to the pool. Like own it, like have fun, like show up as yourselves." And it was at this time where I would say, it was pretty 50-50 like reactions. Like a lot of times, we'd post something, a girl would tag the guy, he'd be like, "No," and then there'd be other times where the guy would be like, "Absolutely yes," and she'd be like, "Wait, really? I didn't know you'd be down." He's like, "Why wouldn't I be? This is awesome." So it's really like, but over the years it started to really shift, and like I think guys are starting to realize, wait a second, I could be on the forefront on it. I could be the one that suddenly shows up with like, "Hey babe, look, I got us some matching suits or matching shirts, dresses."
Oh yeah,
to wear.
get the guys
and
to do
suddenly, and that started to happen like that.
Wow.
It's really turning corners here.
Because I think girls hope that that's going to happen in their relationship, but guys are wired so differently.
Oh, totally.
That they're not thinking about that. But if you guys are leading the charge and fundamentally changing that, and by like looking at your website and having that just like immediately when you get on the website, it's like, oh wait, I can do that, and like, and then the guy knowing like my wife's going to appreciate the shit out of this.
Yep.
And it's like I think it's cute too. It's not just for like, oh, we got engaged, we're in matching stuff. Yeah. It's like, no, fucking do it up,
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to be lifestyle leaders out there. We really want when people wear KF for them to, do things their way. It's not like a set program, but we've definitely found that people that commit and lean into something like a matching look, it really, really is awesome. I was going to say, like, we used to have like I'd been on like bachelor parties where like a guy would be like, "Hey Kenny, like, we gotta all wear the same Kenny Flower shirt out, and that'll be the Saturday night thing."
Hell yeah.
And it's like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Like, and it's fun, and like everyone has such a blast. But then I will say one of the best times that happened was it was like a mini bachelor party. It was like the hometown boys. We were in Boulder, and there was literally just 4 of us matching, and people could not figure it out. Because like if it's 8 people, it's like, hey, it's a bachelor party, or it's like a guy's birthday. 4 people are like, do you guys bowl together? Like, what's going on? So that was really fun.
Oh, that's great.
So we got 3. We just need 1 more to join the Napa parade. Yeah.
You're just carrying an extra shirt around. You're like, you want us to be our 5th? Like,
who's in? So I heard he'll pick up the wine bell.
So we didn't get to clearly answer Chris's question, so kennyflowers.com to get these shirts. And if you haven't checked out their website, and I mean, you got to, and if you are looking for something for vacation, but they're just awesome shirts in general. And then the Spill the Wine shirt is the collaboration that we're doing together.
Yeah, it's a limited collab. I know we're working on getting some in your guys' tasting room too, so that people can check it out there.
So I did want to ask you this.
Yeah.
I probably should have asked you before we got on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Oh, here we go. So
why not in the middle
we
of
can
it?
edit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just see what he's got to say.
No, so I was thinking, I was like, I think they look awesome, right? So I was thinking, like, what if we were to do a label, like we actually did more of kind of an abstract Belle Glos label, the red wax, the whole thing, but took this print and like wrapped it in that. And like, would that be fine to do, or you guys, because you guys own this print? Or would I just be one of the whores that's stealing your ideas?
Just like
I mean, I would say, am I just stealing your idea?
He just wants to be called.
No,
a
I
horse.
mean,
he wants to be called a horse.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's like a call out to it, it's that's something that would be awesome, and it gives people kind of a limited, bottle style or look to bring out at a holiday table or.
Well,
I don't know the turnaround times, but
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like it'd be cool if we had, so if we have inventory, different sizes and whatever else, and somebody's like, oh man, I got these friends, they're going on vacation or they're getting married or something, 10th anniversary, and they're like, all right, I want a small for the dress and a large for the shirt, and I want the special matching bottle,
yes,
and then it's just a gift pack like straight out the door. I think that's where people are like,
yeah,
what the fuck, dude, this is awesome, like playing right into all the shit that we want.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I saw a group walking into a restaurant, okay, they're all wearing the same shirt. That's one thing, right?
Yeah.
And then they come with bottles. And they just lay on the bottle. Then you're like, what is going on here? I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know.
Try to charge me corkage. Try.
They're like, we're just gonna pay you. I don't know. We feel like you like that's boss right there.
I love the idea. So if you're cool with it, then we're gonna get on label design and it'll have all the same stuff that our labels have, but I just think it'd look really cool to do this on a label.
Yeah. I also want to say, I like this because, right now, if you're watching this podcast, this is how it happens right here. Look at this magic. This is happen. You guys are you just collab something else again. Just like that. You collabing everywhere. It's like...
Maybe do an annual release.
I'm just glad this whole collab didn't go that laundry detergent route. Like, this was really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it would have been Tide and Belle Glos would have been super sexy, man. That we would have gotten crazy with that one.
This is so much.
Weren't my kids taking?
Yeah, I don't know if a label with Tide on it would necessarily be the.
Weren't people eating Tide Pods? Was that Tide?
Oh man.
Oh yeah. So you're saying you want Belle Glos pods?
Dude, I would. Hell yeah,
the really good ideas are coming out now, guys.
I should just leave this to you guys.
Buy them by the case. Yeah.
Gloss pods.
No, I know.
A serving
you're talking
of
about
wine.
That challenge, dude. I didn't get those. I mean,
I don't even know. I don't know if you got high or what. Like my kids were young enough where I didn't have to worry about it.
I know that.
And but I did know that I heard it was like a thing for the teens. Anyways, I'm really glad that we did a collaboration with you too, rather than with Tide.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a small step above, but
yeah. It was a boardroom meeting to decide Tide or Kenny Flowers for this one.
Well, that's another great thing you guys have in common. I mean, you're both dads.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's got 6, so he's got some
Six,
tales to tell.
6'1" right now.
And you have a little one.
Yeah.
You gonna keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. You gonna go to 6?
I don't know.
I think that takes a certain type of.
I mean,
here. But...
I shouldn't say it publicly, but I wouldn't recommend it necessarily.
Oh, okay.
I mean, once you get, dude, I love them all, but come on. I mean, there's a point at which it's maybe a little too much.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, you only got some.
I'm at the point where I still have a favorite,
Yeah. No, they're all fun. And I mean, you got a 15-month-old.
Yeah, you're talking about some of the trips you're going on with this kid or that. It's
Well, and so
got a crew.
What I really admire about you and Christina is how you're able to live your lives the way you want to while raising a family.
Yeah, kind of like you said. It's we both are really passionate about what we're doing. Work-wise, obviously, Christina plays a huge role on the Kenny Flower side too, as head of women's, and the women's market for us is just growing really quickly. Thank you. That was a extra top off on the wine for those not watching.
Just poured a little bit of wine.
But yeah, so for us, when we had Harrison, when we were thinking about having a child, all that, we're you know what, we want to make sure this isn't oh, we have to stop how we're living. We want to continue to. And, for me, for both of us, we've been really fortunate to travel a lot before Harrison. And we've had a lot of experiences that were great, amazing. We've had that type of travel. But then also it's pretty damn cool going to a country and seeing something through a new set of eyes. Even if he's not going to remember it down the road, you're just his eyes are open on this train going from, Naples to Rome right now. You can just tell, you can feel that. And yeah, I mean, we really wouldn't want to want to have it other way. I mean, he was never a good sleeper, that's for sure, like one of those kids. So you know, we got to the point where we're like, hey, if we're not going to be sleeping at home, we might as well not be sleeping in a different time zone or while traveling. So we you know, we've definitely been sure to get out there and, you know, even just go to restaurants with him, get him familiar with social environments, and you can already see that being a big part of his you know, development.
Earlier
so
you
far.
do all that stuff, like his
Yeah.
adaptability as he
Sure.
grows. It's like, I mean, I've seen plenty of like sheltered kids,
Mm-hmm.
and how you get them out of like any element of their comfort zone, and then the kids that have just been like, you know, I'm along for the ride,
Yeah,
and it's like they're gonna maximize their enjoyment in life
sure.
because of those early experiences. So everybody that says like, yeah, you know, don't waste the time, don't bring your kids there to any place until they're like 4, you're like, you're gonna keep them in a fucking closet? Like,
Yeah. No, it's
get them the exposure,
Yeah.
get them used to the movement, the travel, the time zones, everything, and immensely beneficial.
Yeah, extremely, like you said, makes him extremely adaptable. Like, I think 2 days ago, he was like kicking a little Italia soccer ball around, you know, the villa backyard, and then now he's back in the U.S. lifting, you know, little footballs and, you know, weights around the house. He's obsessed with balls, like all things balls. He's just like, we'll point them out, he'll throw them. He's just, you know, it's fun. It's fun times.
He's a little
Tiring,
dude.
but fun times.
Yeah,
He's also a jet setter, man.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
He's
no
got-
shit.
He literally, he has 10 passport stamps already.
No
Which
way.
is
Dude,
At
he's
15
got
months.
He's got more
So,
than me.
Damn, I'm
he's
jealous.
Like, he's going off right now. Like,
That's awesome.
but it's like we said, you know, it's awesome for us to be able to you know, keep things going with both of our businesses, and
Yeah.
also be, you know, adjusting to it too. Like, you know, the more like Kenny Flowers as a brand, like it's not the core of the brand has stayed the same, but like I'm different now than I was as a 25-year-old starting you know,
Yeah.
Hawaiian shirt company, quitting a job, moving to Bali. It's like, you know, now it's like, what is Kenny Flowers now? How do you make sure that 25-year-old out there is still getting inspired by the story? But how can you also make sure that you're like being authentic as you're sharing like what Kenny Flowers is at, you know, at my age now? And, you know, for us now, it was like, well, we've got a little guy now. What's he gonna do? Wear other brands? No, we're gonna start making some little kid stuff so you can get into, you know, mommy and me, father, son, like, all
Absolutely.
the matching stuff. So it's been you know, really fun to just like, you know, make sure that business isn't just this like separated category, but just, you know, incorporated into life and
Yep.
being enjoyed throughout.
When it works with both your professions, yours and Christina's, that's awesome. And Harrison he'll grow up to be a very well-rounded individual because of it. Like,
We hope
Cosmopolitan.
so.
Yeah.
He's cool.
I've got a 9-year-old daughter. I don't know if that's out of his age range, but like, you know, maybe we'll see. When he's 18, give us a call.
He's definitely got a wandering eye when he travels. He's just like any girl that'll give him attention right now, he's like locks in on them. He's like, it's so funny.
All right, so I gotta ask. So you moved to Bali.
Yep.
You left your career.
Yep.
You followed your dream, and you went out there and set out to make like just luxury Hawaiian shirts that you know resonated with a global population, right? At what point did you feel like, what was the moment that you sat down and you're like, I might have something here? What was that trigger?
I think that trigger happened before I started the company.
Okay.
The idea came about, and it was different than all those, oh, what if this app, like I have an app idea. I was like, this is my calling. Like, this makes sense. Like, if there's someone to go out there and, you know, start this whole new wave of Hawaiian shirts, I was like, why not me? Like, I think I can do this. So I really felt like there was that, you know, confidence in it, even though I had no idea what the hell I was doing, like no business plan, no fashion background. But
I love
then,
I know.
But then I really think that, like, obviously, you know, there's no guarantees you're gonna make it in a starting a business in general, let alone a like fashion brand. So, you know, I made those first few hundred shirts. Friends, family, the occasional friend of friend were pretty much the like initial buyers. Like, they sold out in the pre-order realm, and I was like, okay, that's a good step.
Yeah.
Like, now I can keep going, or it wasn't a total flop where now I have 300 shirts to wear myself and like need to go find a new job. And it was really that summer when suddenly people started wearing it. And suddenly it was like the next round of customers were like friends of these people, or someone would email saying, hey, I just ordered these shirts because I think he said he was like your, buddy from college, wearing it in the Hamptons. And I just had to buy him. And it was like, I pretty much knew every customer, like where every customer came from. Like, it was that small and like organic. And then it like, we started turning this corner into like, I don't know who these people are ordering the shirts now, and that's when it got really, to me, exciting of like, okay, there's potential. It's like, it's clicking with the people that know about it, but next to nobody knows about it at this stage.
And a lot of
how
that,
can we keep evolving and growing that?
So that was word of mouth, which I think is the best marketing.
Yeah.
And
totally.
then you got into just letting people on social media tag you. Is that a big part of it?
Yeah, I did. I really did no marketing essentially in that first like year or two. Like, sure, I'd like send an email here and there, let people know when like we had a new collection, but it was truly like thanks to friends, family, people wearing the shirts, just going out there, and also like the focus we put on like the product design and making sure they were unique. And they like, I always hear like from the beginning is like, oh, I got so many compliments when I wore my Kenny Flowers shirt, and I can't explain why compliments came to someone wearing our shirt versus someone else's, but that's really just like something at the core and depth of it that
it's true.
We don't need to know. We just
whenever I wear my Kenny Flowers shirts, I get compliments.
Love to hear that.
I know you're like is it okay? This is weird. Like, I got other shirts from like whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then
like my dad will come visit us in like Charleston, and he'll just be like, yeah, the lady checking me in at the airport, she was complimenting my polo and like things like that. I'm like, yeah, that's just awesome to hear. And Kenny Flowers polo, we make golf polos too.
Yeah.
I was like, not some other like the polo.
Yeah, it wasn't Polo, Ralph Lauren.
No,
Not those guys. No.
But it also just I'm sure it's the same with you. Like it all feels young, and to me just like beginning of the journey too. Like it's been 9 years, which is awesome, but it also is like, the goal is for Kenny Flowers to span, generations, be around, be enjoyed not just by, one type of person, but truly like, full families, people of all walks of life.
So did you ever think, if Harrison
gets
involved in this industry,
and
he wanted to do a little offshoot, and do you think he would call it Harry Flowers? I'm known to ask really dumb questions, so you don't need to answer that.
We might be able to ask Christina that. Maybe we should actually bring her in.
Let's bring her in.
Yeah, I think it's time.
I think it's that time.
All right, let's get Christina in here.
Yeah, should we do it? Yeah, Jess and Christina. She's in our house. She's in the pod.